Hey everybody, it's Mooch here with another Canvas crash course. This one is going to cover how you can assign a Google document that you have created to each of your students so that a copy will be made for each student and you won't have to deal with them trying to change share settings to send you a link and all of that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just make sure that you have the Google document that you want your students to be using. This is one that I gave this week for our article of the week. The students are going to be asked to identify the central idea of an article they read and respond to a series of questions or generate their own written response. I want them to type in this document and I want the document to be tied to them so I don't have 74 copy of how will we remember in my drive. So once I have my document created, I'm going to head over to Canvas, and from my modules page on whichever course I want to assign it with, I'm going to create a new assignment that I will just name response questions, just so that we have that and we can track it. So response questions, and then I'm going to do add item. So here's my new assignment that I'm going to click on. And once it loads up here, I'm going to want to click up here where it says edit so that I can change what I need to in the assignment. You do not have to include any directions here. You can actually just keep everything in the Google Doc you're going to assign, or you can use any of the integrations, including the Google Drive one. I can go straight to Google Drive here, authorize my drive to select the file I want to use, and go for the one that I just opened, which is this one right here. I can select from all of them that are in here and I hit add. Once I do that, I can just attach that file and it's now going to appear as a readable document for the kids so that they have reference. This is what I want them to do, but I don't want them to do it here. I want them each to have their own copy. So I'm going to come down here and under submission type, I'm going to click on external tool. From external tool, I'm going to hit find. And I want to then select Google Assignments LTI 1.3. Once I click on that, it's going to ask me to continue with the drive, the Gmail account that I'm logged into. So I say yes. And now you're going to have a window that pops up that looks very similar to the old Google Classroom. Here, under Files, is where you get to attach whichever document you want, and it will automatically make a copy of the attached files for your students to edit and to submit. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Attach to select the one that I want right here and hit Add. I can then adjust the point value if I need to, as well as assign a due date or a rubric if I want to. These will match whatever is in Canvas. So if you just leave them at the default, it'll change automatically based on what you have in Canvas. I'm then just going to hit Create. And it's going to take a moment, save those details, create it, and it's going to bring me back to the Configure External tool. I want to hit Select. Now you'll notice I now have a link in here, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to come down and not really worry about any of these specific settings. I'm just going to hit Save. And once I hit Save, it's going to then create a copy for the students. So they will be able to see up here what it is that I'm looking for them to do. You're going to read, and then you're going to go ahead and jump down here to the response questions and the task that I ultimately want you to do. But here's where the student's work is actually going to be. You're going to notice now down here that I have one file attached, which is that Google Doc that I created and I want them to work on. And each student will now receive a copy. Here you will also see how many have been submitted and how many have been returned. So you'll be able to track whether or not your students have done it and turned it in. And you will be able to then view them using the SpeedGrader window once you're in here. So that's how you can easily assign a Google Doc to your students so that each student has a copy already created for them. Now, this also works with Google Sheets, Google Slides, and essentially anything in your Drive that you want your students to work on and then return to you.